good evening and a very warm welcome to the Scottish Charity Awards 2021, our second virtual awards ceremony. Every year, and I've said this, I don't know how many times, every year I get blown away by the ideas, the achievements, and in many cases, the sheer pizzazz of the finalists in these awards. But I think it's true to say that in the last year, we've needed our voluntary organisations more than ever as we've struggled our way through lockdowns, self-isolation, illness, economic hits, and widespread anxiety. Many of the people and the organisations we'll be hearing about tonight have been doing their bit brilliantly to help the rest of us through. Up until last year, we've celebrated the Charity Awards with full glam and glitter at the EICC here in Edinburgh. The continuing uncertainties of the pandemic mean we are doing it digitally again, with me on the stage here at the EICC, not quite on my Onio this time, but in the company of somebody I'll be introducing you to very shortly. While you, our lovely audience, and the lucky winners, when they find out who they are joining us digitally rather than in the flesh. But we're still live. We're still on full sparkle. And I hope that wherever you're tuning in, you'll raise the winners a glass and cheer them to the rooftops. It's great to know, actually, we've got more people joining us this year than ever before. Which really is terrific because the Scottish Charity Awards are an opportunity to recognise and celebrate the best that Scotland's voluntary sector has to offer. This year, the judges had to choose between hundreds and hundreds of entries to select the 47 fabulous finalists we'll have the pleasure of hearing about tonight. Every one of them is a great reminder of the tenacity and the dedication that people in Scotland's voluntary sector demonstrate day in and day out. So now I'm going to hand you over to my pal here, Anna Fowley, Chief Executive of SCVO, to welcome you formally. Anna.
Thank you very much, Sally. Much appreciated. And good evening to everyone. I'd like to welcome all our guests this evening who are joining us from all across the country. Some of you will be in your own homes and some of you will be at parties with family and friends to celebrate together. A special welcome as well to all our sponsors. And most importantly, to our 47 fantastic finalists for 2021. Last year's awards were the first time that we had tried a big online event, and it was fabulous, so I'm sure that this one will be even better. We've had a record-breaking number of applications this year for activity covering a 12-month period that's been unlike no other any of us have ever experienced. It's been particularly difficult for the voluntary sector and the communities that we support, and people have been doing amazing things. So shortlisting and judging were even more challenging than ever. Charities, social enterprises and community groups have never been more needed, and each of our finalists shows just how much can be achieved despite the impact of the global pandemic on pretty much everything. It's impacted on people, staff, volunteers, the people we work with. It's impacted on funding and costs and service delivery. Everything has changed except the passion, commitment and great work that voluntary organisations do all over Scotland, and I'm pleased that we're going to recognise that tonight. I'm really excited to find out more about the people behind our shortlist this evening and get cracking with the main event. Before we do that, let's hear from some well-known faces.
Hi everyone, Sanju Kohli here. What do you know? Hi everyone, Sanju Kohli here. Still? Okay. Anyway, I just want to say congratulations to all the finalists at this year's Scottish Charity Awards. The pandemic has affected us all in very different ways. I, for example, am currently wearing the bottom half of a Scooby-Doo onesie and a pair of Frogman's flippers. I'm never going to let you see that though. But you guys have done some amazing, amazing work in response to the pandemic. So I just want you to really, really enjoy the hell out of your night and be very, very proud of what you've done. Proud of you.
Hi everyone, it's Fernandez here. I hope you all have a good night at the Scottish Charity Awards night tonight, and congratulations to all the nominees and the winners.
Congratulations to all the finalists at this year's Scottish Charity Awards. It has been an amazing experience launching my own charity in Scotland, AR26. The support from the sector has been greatly appreciated, and I think recent times have shown us how important partnership working is. I hope you all have a great night. Your work in response to the pandemic has been amazing. Well done and enjoy celebrating tonight. You all deserve it.
Congratulations to all the finalists at this year's Scottish Charity Awards. Your work really makes a difference and has shone through in the past year. I hope you all have an amazing night. I want to thank each and every one of you and congratulations.
And thank you to all these lovely celebrities for all their messages. Anybody get any idea who that guy at the beginning was? Anna will be back with us before the end of the show. Now to tonight's ceremony. It'll last roughly just over an hour and we'll have a short break halfway through so you can top up your glasses or run to the loo as you see fit. Remember that as always we're using the hashtag Scott Charity Awards. So please go ahead and tweet throughout the ceremony. Send us your photos of your celebrations wherever you are in the country and let's just go viral with celebration. One thing we can't do is physically hand over the awards to the winners tonight, but never fear, they will be sent on safely and securely by special delivery in due course. So with all that said, let's get started. Up first is Campaign of the Year, and here to present the category is Richard King from SGN.
Thank you, Sally. The first award of the evening is Campaign of the Year, sponsored by SGN. Campaigning is at the heart of the voluntary sector's work, and our first category tonight highlights the vital work carried out by the sector in the midst of the pandemic and beyond. We have 6 finalists in this category that have all delivered significant change for the people and communities they support. Let's hear more about them before I reveal who the winner is.
Our first finalist in this category is the Save Your Outdoor Centres campaign, a collaborative effort between 11 voluntary sector partner organisations to secure funding from the Scottish Government to ensure that Scotland's residential outdoor education centres did not close. Due to the restrictions imposed as a result of the pandemic, residential outdoor centres could not operate as normal. And without the success of the Save Your Outdoor Centres campaign, many would have closed permanently. Not only did the campaign succeed in getting £2 million of funding, it mobilised over 25,000 people to sign a petition calling for the Scottish Government to provide funding and brought together outdoor centres, voluntary sector organisations, young people, teachers and politicians from across Scotland. Our next finalist is Aberlour's Children's Charity. During lockdown, the team became aware of the financial cost of COVID-19 to children and families in Scotland. The Aberlour Urgent Assistance Fund launched in March 2020 with an aim of raising £100,000 for families in crisis, to enable the organisation to provide essentials like food, heating, clothing and beds to children who would have otherwise gone without. The team managed to raise over £1 million, enabling Aberlour to support thousands of children in desperate financial need. Next up, we have Care Home Relatives Scotland. The decision to lock down care homes and forbid contact with residents due to the pandemic left spouses, parents, sons and daughters treated as inessential to each other. The team has worked tirelessly with the Scottish Government, Parliament and infection prevention and control specialists to improve guidance and enable meaningful contact with care home residents cut off from their loved ones due to COVID-19 restrictions. They have also developed their campaign for Anne's Law, which aims to ensure the well-being of society's most vulnerable is never again compromised in the name of care. Our next finalist is Stop It Now Scotland, with their Get Help or Get Caught campaign. Child sexual abuse impacts 1 in 6 children in Scotland, and targeting potential offenders is one of the most important ways of tackling abuse before it happens. The work of Stop It Now Scotland, in partnership with Police Scotland, reaches those who are targeting children and young people online for their own sexual purposes. As a result of their campaign, they have directly protected children and young people from sexual harm, with over 79,000 people visiting the team's website and 185 people access specialist self-help resources designed for people who are worried about their own online behaviour towards children and young people. Next, it's Chest, Heart and Stroke Scotland with their Long COVID Care Now campaign. The campaign has significantly raised public awareness of long COVID and secured major commitments from Scottish Government to improve care, fund a new support service and bring the NHS and voluntary sector together to start providing the wraparound care people with long COVID desperately need. Thanks to the campaign, public awareness is high, and the results will help thousands of people with this life-changing condition and develop service innovation which could pave the way for reshaping how care is delivered for people with other long-term conditions. And finally, we have RSABI, an organisation that provides practical, emotional and financial support to people in Scottish agriculture. Working in agriculture can be isolating, and during lockdown last year, helpline calls were increasing, and the team realised they needed to do something to help keep people connected. The #KeepTalking campaign encouraged everyone in Scottish agriculture to make the time to talk, check in with each other, and to seek support if they were struggling. On a shoestring budget, and thanks to huge industry support, the campaign reached hundreds of thousands of people on social media, print and TV, which featured their moving film featuring a family affected by suicide to emphasise the importance of their message.
Some truly amazing finalists in the Campaign of the Year category this year, and I know we, the judging panel, had a hard time with this one as it covered such a range of areas and causes. But there can only be one winner, and this year's Campaign of the Year winner is Get Help or Get Caught from Stop It Now Scotland.
And so we have our first winner of the night. It's Stuart Allardyce from Stop It Now Scotland joining me now. Well done, Stuart. I was just thinking what a terrific array of campaigns in that category, and you came out on top. What do you think about that?
Good evening, Sally, and it's just such an incredible honour with respect to just the amazing campaigns that were alongside us here. So a very humbling experience, I have to say.
Stop It Now is doing tremendously important work, difficult work, Stuart, I imagine. How do you and your team go about it?
Well, every year we work directly with over 100 individuals who present a risk of harm to children. Some of those are individuals who have not committed offences yet, but are worried about the thoughts and feelings that they have. Some of them are people who have committed offences but can't get statutory supports for whatever reason. So we work with them, a dedicated team made up of social workers and psychologists and law enforcement colleagues, to help people make safer choices and to help promote safety for children in Scotland.
And with a great deal of success by the sound of it. I noted down there 79,000 people visiting the website, 185 accessing self-help resources. I mean, it's tragic that there has to be that many there, but you're there for them.
Yeah, I think even we were surprised at the level of success of the campaign that's won this year that we did in partnership with Police Scotland. But it builds on I think a kind of growing evidence base that actually child sexual abuse is a preventable public health problem, and if we get in there early enough, we can deter or help people when they're at the cusp of offending.
Well, congratulations, Stuart. Fantastic effort, and well done to you and all the team. Before we move on, the judging panel would like to note a special commendation in this category. It goes to Aberlour Childcare Trust, Aberlour Urgent Assistant Fund, for the support they provided to thousands of children in desperate financial need. So please give everyone at Aberlour a huge round of applause at home, and well done to you. Big congratulations to all the Campaign of the Year finalists. Terrific, every single one of them. And our thanks to Richard from SGN. Up next is Volunteer of the Year, and I'm going to hand over to Andrew Burns, SCVO convener, to introduce the finalists.
So thank you very much, Sally, and good evening, everyone. I hope you're all having an enjoyable evening, and I'm really happy that so many folk have been able to join the Charity Awards online again this year. And up next is the Volunteer of the Year Award. All 6 people on our shortlist have definitely gone the extra mile for a cause that's very close to their hearts. They've stepped up to the plate at a time when communities needed them the most. And the judges were very inspired by the stories we read in this category. So let's hear a little bit more about them now.
Our first finalist in this category is Sean Nicholas Fernandez. Through his time volunteering with Central and West Integration Network, he has successfully made an impact in communities across Glasgow by delivering cybercrime prevention awareness workshops and creating a space through a community gardening project to help refugees by encouraging them to spend more time in nature to benefit their mental health and well-being. A person with integrity who always helps people in need, regardless of differences in culture, status or beliefs. Sean believes through compassion, persistence and skill, we can help those facing even the most impossible situations. And when we pull together as a community, we can make miracles happen. Next we have Douglas Sewell, who is described by colleagues at Chest, Heart and Stroke Scotland as not just a volunteer, but a life changer. Immediately after his stroke, Douglas had great difficulty walking, talking or eating. His story of how physical activity helped his stroke recovery has inspired many survivors to rebuild their lives. And he devotes his time to helping others with their recovery, offering one-to-one support to build their confidence, get active again and improve their well-being. When the pandemic hit, Douglas was first in line to suggest creative ways for stroke survivors to be supported and immediately stepped up to become a kindness caller, reducing the loneliness felt by so many by providing weekly support calls. Our third finalist is Alistair Brown, a volunteer with the Bridge Community Project's Financial Wellbeing Service. Alistair provides hope to vulnerable members of the West Lothian community who are experiencing financial and personal challenges. His approach focuses on developing positive relationships, and he treats sensitive situations with dignity, respect and care. This has been particularly important during the pandemic, where he has consistently gone above and beyond for his clients, ensuring they had access to food and someone to talk to. When people are at their most vulnerable, Alistair provides a safe space to find hope for the future. Next we have Andrew Robertson CBE, who has worked with Carers Trust Scotland in a volunteer capacity for more than 20 years. Throughout that time, he has helped in many different ways, and his influence, guidance and support has helped the Trust secure an incredible amount of funding in the last 12 months alone. He has provided day-to-day support and guidance to the team and introduced them to many other key potential partners and donors to help provide the best support possible for carers. From volunteering at the Scottish Young Carers Festival to influencing policy at national level to ensure carers are given the recognition and support they need, Andrew has been at the centre. Over the year, Andrew has consistently been on hand, facilitating introductions to help the charity with its research work and to provide critical support. Our next finalist is Bob McKenzie, who after becoming a service user of Cumbernauld Action on care of the elderly, joined the team as a volunteer at 91 years young, because he wanted to support others who felt isolated. Bob became a befriender to someone who was bedridden after suffering a stroke, providing weekly support, developing a way of communicating with them and playing games. Even when the pandemic hit, he would make weekly calls to check in. Bob is an exceptional human being who cares for others and contributes to older people in his community, looking for support and companionship, learning new skills and sharing them with others. Last but not least, we have Rosie Sinclair, who during the pandemic established Edinburgh Mask Makers, a sewing group of over 1,000 volunteers who have made thousands of masks for key workers. Rosie was nominated by the team at the Edinburgh Tool Library, who got involved with her group to build collection boxes, coordinate mask pickups, and help to run distribution of the masks. Despite having had a personally challenging year herself, Rosie wanted to help when she realised face masks were in short supply for key workers at the start of the pandemic. And despite being in hospital for the majority of 2020, still managed to coordinate the work.
Well, I'm sure you'd agree, some amazing finalists from a year where volunteers have been even more important than usual to their local communities. But of course, there can only be one winner, and it's my absolute pleasure to announce that the winner of the Volunteer of the Year award is Sean Nicholas Fernandez from Central and West Integration Network. Many congratulations, Sean.
The man himself, Sean. Well done. Well done. What do you think of that?
Thank you, Sally. Thank you for this. Yeah, I'm overwhelmed and kind of surprised as well because there's a lot of wonderful finalists on this category. Yes.
I know,
Thank you.
a fantastic range of finalists, but you won, Sean. Cybercrime and community gardening, that's quite a portfolio. Tell us, first of all, about the cybercrime awareness workshops.
Yes, Sally. So I have successfully created the cybercrime workshop and a presentation where this workshop will give pensioners, focusing more on pensioners, and also it's open to all. It's to provide the communities with prevention methods and how to stay safe online, especially during this time in lockdown when everything is being tech driven. So I think it would be a very useful awareness talk.
And you're also working with refugees in community gardens to
yes,
the healing power of nature.
Yes, Ellie. And then another project during this lockdown is because a lot of people are been socially excluded and they have a lot of mental health issues as well. So me and a team of volunteers, we secured an allotment for Central and West Integration Network, and we did some communal work, and we made a space especially for them to spend time more with nature and to benefit their mental health and well-being.
Well, it's obvious from what you say what other people are getting from your volunteering. What is it that you get out of it?
Well, for me, Sally, it's just my values and my principles in life. Since I was small, my mom taught me to help people always when they are in need and never expect anything in return. So I carry that values in me today wherever I go.
And what makes a good volunteer?
Commitment, the sacrifices, the time.
Somebody like you, in other words. Thank you very much, Sean
Thank
Nicholas
you, Sally.
Fernandez. Well done indeed, and thank you for all you do. I'm so bowled over by the wonderful, ingenious things being done by all these volunteers. It's magnificent. And again, before that we move on to the next category, the judging panel would like to note a special commendation in this category, and it goes to Bob McKenzie from Cumbernauld Action on Care of the Elderly for his care to others in his community. Well done, Bob, indeed. Up next is the Pioneering Project. To tell you all about it, let me hand over to Fiona Gillespie from Rathbones.
Thank you, Sally, and hello everyone. I do hope you're having a fabulous night this evening. Up next is the Pioneering Project Award, sponsored by Rathbones Investment Management. This award features organisations that kept communities connected and safe throughout lockdown by showing creativity and flexibility to ensure they were focused on the challenges at hand. Their entries demonstrated how they made a significant impact to communities from a project or a partnership. So let's hear more about 6 wonderful finalists and the difference they have been making.
Our first project in this category is Create Inclusion by McRoberts Arts Centre. No one should feel excluded from enjoying the arts, and the organisation's team recognised that there was a clear need to make performances more inclusive for the deaf community. The project was formed to break down barriers, lead the way, and create inclusive environments to develop a creative leader from the deaf community. The project provides opportunities for deaf audiences of all ages to experience the joy of seeing deaf performers and attend BSL signed performances and benefit from subtitled films. This not only had a huge impact on the local deaf community, which had struggled to find accessible shows, but also left a legacy and commitment to providing inclusive opportunities. Next, we have the Louise Project, which supports families experiencing poverty to transform their own lives and to be active participants in the transformation of their community. Normally, the team work by visiting families at home to help them meet their essential needs, integrate and be part of city life, and to develop skills and enhance their well-being. When faced with a global pandemic and restrictions, the team launched 4 new services: crisis support, providing access to food and fuel, online information updates to keep everyone safe, digital inclusion to enable families to stay in touch, and pastoral care to support those living with fear and anxiety. Our third finalist is Click and Deliver Naloxone, from Scottish families affected by alcohol and drugs. Over the last 10 years, nearly 10,000 families in Scotland have lost a loved one through drug-related death. Naloxone is a life-saving medication that reverses opioid overdose, providing crucial time to call an ambulance. The team recognised the need for access to this vital medication and launched a unique national Click and Deliver service, providing training and free naloxone by post to any adult in Scotland. From May 2020 until March 2021, the team issued 295 kits, potentially saving 295 lives. Our next finalist is Pikachu from Peak, a mobile food truck developed to support Glasgow communities throughout lockdown. Over the course of the year, the team delivered over 350,000 healthy meals to over 3,000 children and young people across Glasgow experiencing poverty, inequality and trauma. At the height of lockdown, Peak supported 250 families weekly, whilst working in partnership with nurseries, schools, charities and the private sector. Next, we have the Emergency Food Provision COVID-19 project by the Sirenians. When the pandemic hit, the demand for food across the whole country increased almost overnight, along with the new challenge of getting food to people who were unable to leave their own homes. In response, Sirenians developed a full-scale food production service, and thanks to a partnership with NatWest, the team were able to cook and deliver more than 5,000 freezer-friendly, healthy and delicious ready meals every week to local people who were unable to leave their homes. Thanks to this project, people across Edinburgh were able to access food with dignity and keep themselves and their families fed. And finally, we have Pride and Pixels from LGBT Youth Scotland. LGBTI young people's mental health and well-being suffers when they aren't able to connect with peers who are going through similar situations. So during lockdown, the team worked alongside LGBTI young people and a task force from JP Morgan to create a digital community space where they could connect with other LGBTI young people, access high-quality youth work services, and gain opportunities for learning and development. Through this, the team has provided support for young people throughout the pandemic and continue to use it to reach out to young people unable to access face-to-face groups such as those in remote rural communities.
Some truly inspiring projects that are all very worthy finalists. Tonight, I'm delighted to announce that the winner of the Pioneering Project Award for 2021 is Click and Deliver Naloxone from Scottish families affected by alcohol and drugs. Many congratulations.
By Justina Murray from Scottish Families Affected by Alcohol and Drugs. Many congratulations to you. What do you make of that then?
Well, I feel quite overwhelmed having just heard all of the finalists summarised there. You know, so often people who use drugs and their family members, they're excluded, they're judged, they're kind of very much on the margins. And to get this award, this national award, amongst such greatness that we've just heard of, then I'm really so happy and delighted to accept it on behalf of Scottish families.
Justina, we know that Scotland has a dreadful record on drug deaths. Every one of these statistics a personal and family tragedy. Tell me about this project and what it's been able to do.
Well, it really came from the pandemic and from the Lord Advocate actually changing the rules around prosecution. So for the first time, Scottish Families was able to distribute naloxone. And we knew that already families often didn't feel comfortable accessing naloxone, maybe going to a drug and alcohol service or going to a community pharmacy and saying, you know, why they needed it. So we knew that families needed something discreet and confidential and straight to their door. And actually reflecting on the numbers of kits we've got out the door, we're almost at 2,000 kits now since May last year when the service launched. And, you know, we know that some of those kits have already been used in overdose situations. And it's just amazing how, you know, the people of Scotland, not just family members, but also people who are at risk of overdose, people who may come across overdose situations, and members of the public have asked for naloxone kits that we have provided. And I just feel they've really embraced this whole idea of everyone being able to save a life and everyone having a role in stopping the deaths.
And the effect on families of a loss of a family member through alcohol and drugs, devastating.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of families have lost their loved one to alcohol and to drugs. And, you know, that pain never goes away. So we just want to do everything we can to reduce those numbers, to reduce that impact on families. And we know that naloxone is not the only answer to the drug-related deaths, but it's certainly part of the answer. And we're so proud to be part of that solution.
And to know, I mean, 295 lives, Justina? 295 lives? What does that make you feel?
And as I've said, you know, we've now issued nearly 2,000 kits. So the updated figure, it's been incredibly busy. And we're part of the National Stop the Deaths campaign, which is active just now across TV and radio and billboards. So, you know, if people would like to order a naloxone kit, we'd ask them to go to stopthedeaths.com, find out more about recognising signs of overdose, how to respond, and also how to order their own naloxone kit.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much and well done. And congratulations also to all the other finalists in the Pioneering Project category as well. Every one of them so very important. Up next is Employee of the Year. To introduce this category, I'm going to hand over to Pauline Lunn, SCVO board member and judging panel member, to tell us more.
Thank you, Sally, and hello to all our fantastic finalists and attendees tonight. It's so lovely to see you all dressed up for the evening. It's my absolute privilege to be here tonight to be able to present the award for Employee of the Year. This award recognises a member of staff who's worked tirelessly to make a significant difference to one or more organisations or causes. Scottish voluntary organisations are jam-packed with inspiring individuals who've proven over the last year that our sector has never been more needed. Our 5 finalists tonight are outstanding and influential people who demonstrated incredible dedication to their organisations. Let's meet them.
Our first finalist in this category is Linda Walker from Wheatley Care. Linda recognises each person's worth, both staff and the people Wheatley Care works for, and wants the team she works with to be recognised for the outcomes they have accomplished. She has provided amazing support to some of the most vulnerable and complex homeless adults living in Glasgow during the pandemic, and her dedication, motivation and understanding shown over the past 12 months has helped to ensure positive outcomes for the people the organisation supports during one of the most challenging and difficult periods in our lifetimes. Next up we have Fiona Mitchell from Harlaw Hill Day Centre. As manager of the centre, Fiona supports the elderly community of Preston Pans every day. When lockdown began in 2020, she put an immediate outreach plan in place to keep all the centre's clients socially connected and tirelessly organised free meals, telephone calls and day trips when restrictions permitted. She even gave up her own garden for several months to provide free afternoon teas and entertainment, as well as organising socially distanced street parties. Always the first to lead by example and offer praise to her staff, and never accepting any for herself. Her selfless dedication has shone during the last 12 months. Our third finalist is Chris Grant from AbilityNet. Energetic, reliable and truly committed, during the toughest of years for so many, Chris focused on ensuring the organisation's older and disabled clients remained or became part of the digital world. Thanks to him, over 1,000 older and disabled people have now been supported with their tech in Scotland. Alongside this, he also ran numerous online activities for volunteers and staff to keep them engaged, and raised £10,000 to support the free services AbilityNet offers, enabling the organisation to advertise what it does and help more older and disabled people stay connected. Next is Lorraine Jarvie from Mood. Lorraine has brought a wealth of experience and a new level of excellence and professionalism to Mood, ensuring its services are delivered to the highest standards. She has facilitated the growth of the organisation by increasing user numbers, services provided, and staff numbers to support increase in demand. Lorraine is dedicated and passionate about Mood's clients, focusing on their individual needs to help them develop and reach their full potential. Thanks to Lorraine, Mood is now a recognised organisation across West Lothian. Last but not least, we have Nicola Bell from Carers Trust Scotland. Nicola has achieved a huge amount in the last 12 months. Despite only starting with the organisation one day before the country went into lockdown, she campaigned to raise awareness of unpaid young carers so that supermarkets would include them in the protected hours set aside for vulnerable people to shop during the pandemic. Resources she produced for professionals and young carers on the topic of supporting carers through a whole family approach have been so well received that they're being translated into other languages by European carers organisations to use in their own countries.
Well done to all of our finalists who've truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. But as you know, only one person can win. And I'm absolutely delighted to announce that the winner of this year's Employee of the Year is Nicola Bell from Carers Trust. Congratulations, Nicola.
Delighted to be joined by Nicola herself. Congratulations, Employee of the Year. You having a party there? Can you hear me, Nicola?
Hi, Sally. Yeah.
Hi there. Who have you got with you?
Oh, we've got all of the, I've got Andrew Robertson here, and we've got the Carers Trust Scotland team here celebrating. This is
wonderful. Wonderful. And you only started the day after lockdown. That was quite a baptism.
Yeah, I started the day after lockdown, so I was working from home the entire time and meeting all my lovely colleagues on Zoom and working with all our incredible young people on Zoom as well. So it's been a really bizarre experience, but it's been fantastic.
And you got straight into working on ways to help unpaid young carers. I mean, why did you feel so strongly about that you were able to throw yourself into it in the way that you did?
I think during the pandemic, unpaid carers and particularly young carers and young adult carers had so much to face. They were caring for loved ones that were potentially shielding. They were having to take part in online learning. They weren't able to go out and take part in their local young carers service and get the respite that they needed. So there was so much support that we needed to do as Carers Trust to support those young people during lockdown.
And it must be really gratifying to know that your ideas are being taken up across Europe by other organisations. What is it you think that is appealing to other organisations about this whole family approach?
I think in Scotland, we really lead the way in terms of awareness raising and what we do for young carers. And I think our European partners really value that. And I think the whole family approach, we've realised that during lockdown, and I think trying to support young carers by supporting all of the family and that holistic approach is really needed. It's needed in Scotland, and it's clearly needed across Europe as well, which is really exciting with our Together project.
Great. Well, have you got the champagne there? Your colleagues?
We do. Yeah, we'll definitely be on the champagne.
Bring them in front of the camera. Let's see them.
I know.
Come on, where are they? Come on in. There they are. You must be very proud of her.
We're very, very proud of her, yeah.
Yeah.
She's just been an amazing member of the team right through the year and has fitted in so well with everyone and inspires us all just with her enthusiasm and her hard work ethic.
Yeah, well, enjoy the party tonight, folks, and well done, Nicola, once again.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers to you. Before we move on to the next category, we've got a special commendation in this category for Fiona Mitchell from Harlaw Hill Daycare Centre for her dedication and support to the elderly community in Prestonpans over the past year. Well done, Fiona. I hope you're surrounded by lots of people as well who give you a big round of applause. Up next is the Community Action category, and we're going to hear from Alan Sherry from CLD Standards Council Scotland.
Now for the Community Action Award, sponsored by the Community Learning and Development Standards Council for Scotland. Across Scotland, small voluntary groups and grassroots organisations do extraordinary work with local communities to make a big difference. This year's 5 finalists showed resilience in the face of unprecedented challenges, adapting quickly to the pandemic to ensure communities were safe and supported. Let's hear from them.
Our first finalist in this category is Recovery Enterprises Scotland. The team, mainly made up of volunteers with their own lived experience, works to provide food hampers to those experiencing food insecurity and poverty in the area. Since June 2020, the team has engaged with 150 households, providing over 3,000 food parcels. It established numerous services to address unmet needs, and the manner in which the team adapted following lockdown and their level of support, compassion, selflessness and commitment to helping others is exemplary. Next, we have Triple Tap Tech, which aims to provide advice, help, support and training on accessing and using technology to anyone with a visual impairment. This includes teaching basic and advanced skills used to successfully access and prosper in the digital world. The team provides unlimited social support to the visually impaired community, by using technology to set up accessible clubs, talks and groups to combat social isolation and help people achieve their goals. Our third finalist is Glasgow Afghan United's COVID Response Project. Small, agile and refugee and migrant-led, this organisation tackles poverty, isolation and disadvantage in the communities it serves. When lockdown hit, the team acted quickly to create a new food delivery service that has helped hundreds of people. They also delivered online schooling, women's empowerment sessions and started a new strand of literacy and empowerment work, a community cookbook which functions as a storytelling project to help members express their cultural identities. During the pandemic, the team delivered security, stability and self-confidence to marginalised households, with a belief that having culturally specific food in the fridge means dignity, having multilingual homework supports attainment, and having a safe space to talk means you're not alone. Our fourth finalist is Cumbernauld Resilience. Established in March 2020 as a community-based response to the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, the organisation united people from all over Cumbernauld from a diverse demographic to reach out and help their neighbours. The team has over 120 volunteers who have freely given their time, expertise and commitment to distribute over 90,000 meals and other essentials to locals, successfully raising over £10,000 to support people in the Cumbernauld community during the pandemic. Finally, we have the Flourishing Well, which provides therapies and holistic well-being workshops for those with ill health, disabilities, financial hardship or other disadvantages. During the pandemic, the organisation received many referrals to help support traumatised people and had to adapt quickly to an online platform. After receiving their first round of funding in July 2020, by December, the team had hosted 352 holistic therapies and wellbeing workshops and delivered 94 care packs.
There were some truly fantastic finalists this year, each identifying real need in their communities and providing creative solutions and support. Well done to everyone nominated. But there can only be one winner. And it is my pleasure to announce that the 2021 winner of the Community Action category is Cumbernauld Resilience. Congratulations to all involved.
I'm delighted to be joined from Cumbernauld Resilience by Tony Murphy. Well done. Congratulations, Tony.
Wow, thank you very much, Sally. Absolutely delighted.
You must be thrilled. Tony, resilience is exactly what communities have needed and continue to need indeed throughout the pandemic. Tell me what you were doing in Cumbernauld exactly to build up the resilience there.
Well, very quickly, as the pandemic kicked in, if you like, and the first lockdown kicked in, a group of us got together and quickly formed Cumbernauld Resilience because we just wanted to go out and help people. It was a sole aim. It was, at that time, food supplies were really difficult. The supermarket chains, etc., were, really struggling to get to people. So we thought we need to go and help these people. So a lot of selfless people got together. We quickly formed a group, a core group, and our sole focus was we then leafleted the whole of Cumbernauld with a team of amazing volunteers. I think we had about 120 volunteers. So we actually on foot went around every single door, and then we set up a helpline. So it was a 24-hour helpline for people who were self-isolating, struggling, financially through the furlough scheme. So we would then provide them with enough food to see them through. We were working with 24 hours a day helpline, and we were going out 7 days a week at that point as well, Sally. So it's quite incredible.
I mean, really incredible and a wonderful model for other communities and lots of communities did try to do many things, but I just wonder what it was that about your group that managed to get so many volunteers not only motivated but organised, which must be a bit of a headache.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all just, I know from my own experience and certainly my wife and other trustees, we all just quickly tapped into our area of expertise. We know well our business background, you know, and we then just focused on that. For me in particular, my business is, my background is retail. So I quickly then tapped into that to then get the food supplies, which obviously was the most crucial part. And then the other trustees then utilised their areas of expertise, you know, like business background, cooking. We've got a wonderful chef called Maureen. So, you know, we all just really just focused on that area, Sally. And then the organisation side of that, we just did it between us. There was no big egos, there was no nothing. It was just this desire to go and help people.
And what does it mean to you and to the whole team to get this award and this recognition?
It's an absolute honour, to be honest, and I'm delighted to accept it on behalf of Commonwealth Resilience. And we'll really just use this as you know, as another tool for us to, yeah, the recognition is brilliant, but we'll just carry on with work. We've got huge plans in place already post-COVID. We're going to, you know, hopefully moving out of this, we're going to focus on the elderly. We see a big need for the elderly, and we've already started utilising that. Got a good example for that, Sally, was about 3-4 weeks ago. We went round 3 complexes for the elderly, the sheltered housing, and we took a group of musicians round, and we provided, I think it was 150, a little box for high tea. So there was various little cakes, sandwiches, etc. And it was a really super day. And we got all the elderly out who've all been, you know, struggling, let's face it. And we gave them went round to 3 complexes during the day at various times with the music group. And it was wonderful. I mean, honestly, I've never been so happy to see people enjoy themselves like that so much. It was amazing.
Well, congratulations and all power to your elbows in the future. And well done indeed to all the other finalists in the community action category. Such a lot of brilliant initiatives there. And to Alan Sherry from CLD Standards Council Scotland. Now, before we move on to our next award, I'm going to suggest we take a quick break to grab a snack, refill a drink, maybe also retweet or tweet a picture of your award celebrations to @SCVO tweet using the hashtag Scott Charity Awards. Go on, get on with it because you haven't got long. We'll be right back in 5 minutes. everybody. Welcome back. I hope you're all feeling refreshed and raring to go for the second half of our Scottish Charity Awards 2021. Still lots of awards to come, and if your category is one of them, calm those nerves, it won't be long. Up next, we have the Trustee of the Year category. As a trustee myself, I always take particular pleasure in seeing what great practice is out there on so many hard-working charity boards. Let me hand over to George Walker of the Scottish Charity Regulator, Oscar, to tell us more and reveal the winner.
Thank you, Sally. And hello to all of our Scottish Charity Awards guests and finalists this evening. It's lovely to be here with you all celebrating the awards. Over the past year, trustees have had to adapt to new challenges in an ever-changing who stands out, among the many, I have to say, who have worked tirelessly to make a significant to one or maybe more organisations or causes. 5 trustees from a wide range of organisations across Scotland have been shortlisted in this category, and they are.
Our first finalist in this category is Fiona Davis from the Fringe Society. Fiona was pivotal in the Survive 2020. Alongside her professional expertise, time and knowledge, she has been a pillar of support to the executive team and an advocate and champion of protecting jobs, supporting artists and ensuring the organisation retained its charitable focus. She is a superb board member and vice chair who believes in full disclosure, dialogue and consensus building with her fellow directors and aging time. Next we have Pamela Noble from Kyle and Lochaushe Community Trust. Pamela has established strong foundations for sustainable community development for Lochaushe, with quiet determination and resilience. During lockdown, she led the Lochaushe Collaborative that ensures support for all, devised a questionnaire for every household, which is now informing a sustainable action plan, and secured funding for a feasibility study to establish a Viking living village and a ranger to ensure the Plot Community Parkland continues to be a life-enhancing space for all. An empathetic, visionary leader who shuns publicity and whose sole focus is her community's well-being. Pam is truly inspirational. Our third finalist is Julia Grindley from Edinburgh School Uniform Bank, a volunteer-run charity which is a safety net for struggling families and a vital resource for education and health professionals. When pandemic restrictions were put in place, Julia knew she had to keep the service open. Despite losing access to her premises, with half her volunteers and trustees shielding and her usual sources of stock and funding drying up, Julia found innovative ways around all of these hurdles. She ensured that over 800 of the most vulnerable children in Edinburgh had what they needed to start school or go back to school after the first lockdown, when money was tight and sources of help were hard to access. Next we have Lilias Dunlop from Cosgrove Care. Lilias's particular focus over the past 4 years has been to fundamentally change how Cosgrove Care approaches fundraising and to improve the environments in which people live and the charity operates within. She has spent many hours researching grants and has helped the team raise over £1.5 million. In addition, she has helped to successfully coordinate a large renovation project to the organisation's charity shop and effectively manage a number of essential repairs. She has personally inspected the properties, commissioned condition surveys, coordinated repairs and supported grant funding. Last but not least, we have Robert Smith from Lynx. In response to the pandemic, Robert was visionary and determined, quickly building alliances to set up a food distribution project. Between March and September 2020, his team of volunteers delivered a whopping 18,000 meals and 2,000 grocery packs. Since October 2020, he has also overseen logistics of a weekly food hub. Robert makes the magic happen. Whether he's running board meetings, bulk buying food, driving the van, supporting new volunteers, or making friendly phone calls, he is an unstoppable force for good.
Well, I'm sure you'll all agree that this year's shortlist features some really terrific trustees. However, sadly, as with all of our categories, there can only ever be one winner. And I'm really excited to announce that the 2021 Trustee of the Year award goes to Robert Smith from Links. Congratulations, Robert, and very well done.
I see you've got a bit of a fan club there too, Robert. You probably can't hear a word I'm saying, can you?
I can do.
How do you feel about being Trustee of the Year then?
Absolutely delighted, Sally. And just like to say that the other projects are amazing projects.
They certainly are.
Congratulations to them.
You came out on top though, and some lovely things said about you there. Robert makes the magic happen, we heard. What's the secret of the magic? Probably hard work.
It's working with a great team, honestly. I think, as it said there, I'm the face at the front of it, but there's a team of really hard-working people at my back.
18,000 meals delivered, 2,000 grocery packs. How did you go about it?
I harassed people into helping and persuaded people to help.
You're good at persuading, are you?
I'm told.
Other people have probably got another word for it, like arm twisting or, yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah.
You seem to have been doing everything, Robert, from board meetings to driving the van. Is that what being a trustee means for you?
Yeah.
It's not just sitting around a table.
Yeah, it's getting amongst it and to get the job done.
We've heard about so many initiatives tonight born out of the pandemic. Has it, the pandemic, in your experience, with all the bad stuff it's brought, has it added a particular dynamism, I suppose, and energy to people and to communities who are galvanized into action?
Certainly in the Links project, I've seen people I've never seen before, arms sleeves up and getting wired right in. And that's really good. When people are in need, what you like to see is other people getting in amongst it and getting the job done.
Well, it's a terrific accolade to get. How many folk have you got in there, Robert?
There's about 20.
I was going to say bring them round. I'll bring a few of them round. Let's see his fan club. The Robert Smith fan club, ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on. Come on, guys. Come on over. We'll get as many as we can.
There they are. There they are.
That's only a short film. There's more coming. As quick as we can, guys.
Oh, well, congratulations to all of you. It's clearly been quite a team effort, Robert.
Yes, it certainly was, Sally. A great team effort.
Well done. Enjoy the celebrations tonight. I imagine there'll be one or two.
There could very well be. Okay. Thanks very much, Sally.
Thanks very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, judging must have been really tough this year with so many amazing finalists in every category, because the judging panel would like once again to note a very special commendation for Julia Grindley from Edinburgh School Uniform Bank for her innovation and dedication in her role. Well done, Julia. Again, I hope you've got lots of folk who are raising a glass and cheering you to the rafters for that. Well done. And our thanks to all the other finalists in the Trustee of the Year category who give so much of themselves to enable our charities to do all the wonderful work that they do. Up next is the Digital Citizens category. I'm pleased to welcome Jeff Huggins from Digital Scotland to tell us more.
Thank you, Sally, and also to SCVO for hosting what has been a brilliant night so far. Now we have the Digital Citizens Award, sponsored by Digital Scotland. New technology has changed the way we live and has never been more important in helping the sector stay connected with those it supports. Tonight's 5 finalists have adapted and evolved to maximise these opportunities throughout the crisis. They've redesigned their services and support around the expectations and needs of their service users and used technology to maximise their impact. So before I reveal the winner, let's hear about this year's finalists.
First up in this category is Lead Scotland. Lead's aim is to provide accessible digital skills and cyber safety training to disabled people, unpaid carers, practitioners, and people experiencing barriers to learning. When the pandemic hit and people moved to doing everything online, the organisation hit the ground running, utilising their expertise in cyber resilience training to make sure the public were able to feel safe online by providing accessible free webinars and resources. With a small team of 5 staff, they supported just under 1,000 people to improve their digital skills and feel more confident being safe online. The team also ran webinars over the course of a year and produced a free online course in partnership with Open University in Scotland, created with and for disabled learners. Next up, we have People Know How. Over the last year, the team has provided devices, digital skills and connectivity to thousands of people across Edinburgh and East Lothian. In doing so, the team has helped people stay connected with loved ones, access support and homeschool their children. Throughout this work, they identified that the biggest obstacle to digital inclusion was data poverty. So the organisation is now launching Connectivity Now, a national campaign to end data poverty. Our third finalist is The Space. In April 2020, The Space launched its digital inclusion service, so families could learn about the internet, how to use their devices, and attend online activities. The team enabled 41 families to become digitally active, and 20 more restarted their education online, all during a global pandemic. The organisation's move to digital communication with tablets and iPads has provided huge benefits, as beneficiaries have re-engaged with their learning, attended online social activities, and mastered digital skills. This approach has opened a whole new world of communication and education to service users and their families. Up next, we have Glasgow's Golden Generation, which has supported older adults for over 70 years. After being awarded funding last year to get older adults online, the team distributed 200 tablets and developed a bespoke app with videos, COVID updates, puzzles, and befriending video calls, which is available across the UK and has hundreds of users. It has made the internet accessible to older adults and kept them in touch with friends and family whilst decreasing digital exclusion. And the service has been a lifeline and prevented hundreds of older adults from being lonely and isolated during the pandemic. Finally, we have One Parent Families Scotland, Edinburgh. COVID-19 brought the impacts of digital exclusion for single-parent families into sharp focus. Not only did the organisation respond with a gifting campaign that distributed over 100 new laptops, tablets and MiFi connections, it also ran digital skills courses for home and the workplace, followed with ongoing one-to-one support. Children were able to engage with home learning properly. Parents were able to seek jobs online, manage benefits, and continue with college courses that moved online. Families were able to keep connected to their support systems and create new ones through various online activities.
Some fantastic examples of what can be achieved by embracing digital technology and not being afraid to change the way you work. I'm pleased to announce that this year's winner of the Digital Citizens Award is People Know How. Congratulations.
And I'm joined by Claudia Baldacchino from People Know How. Congratulations, Claudia.
Thank you very much. That's a great honour to win.
Oh,
There we
you've
go.
got, oh yes, not to be outdone. You've got your fans too. Digital connection, of course, so important, as we've all realised this last year and a half, and look at us now. Tell us a bit more about what you were doing to promote it.
Yeah, so we have been providing digital support for over 5 years now, actually. And when COVID hit, we really identified the need for devices. So we'd offered digital skills support in the past, but we identified the need for devices and connectivity as well. So we've been supported over 4,000 people now, actually, across Edinburgh and East Lothian with free computers, laptops, tablets, phones, digital skills support and training, and connectivity support. And we also operate the National Connecting Scotland helpline. And now we've started our national campaign, Connectivity Now, because we've identified data poverty to be the biggest obstacle towards digital inclusion. And we're inviting pledges from organisations across Scotland so that we can implement policy change and actually eradicate data poverty.
Yeah, tell us a bit more about data poverty, what it is, and why it's so important to end it.
Absolutely. So we always say that you can give someone a device, you can help them with skills, but if they don't have connectivity, then they can't connect to the internet, they can't use those skills, and they can't use that device. So through Connecting Scotland, we've been able to provide people with connectivity. However, that has been a temporary fix. That's about 2 years that they offer at the moment. And while that's been absolutely amazing, our question is, what's the long-term solution? And that's why we really want to make systems change and implement that nationally.
Yeah, national campaign. That's your next step. Connectivity Now. You're calling it. That's going to keep you busy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we chose connectivity as the name because it really spans across all 4 sectors. We do a lot of collaboration across the 4 sectors. However, data poverty does originate from the 3rd sector, which is where we originate, and we wanted to have that as the tagline as well. So yeah, I mean, it affects all 4 sectors and beyond, and it transcends postcodes and absolutely everything. So it's a really big issue that we hope to maintain the momentum from COVID to just keep going as we move forward as well.
And I imagine this has been a team effort from People Know How.
Absolutely.
And that your team's there?
Yes, they are.
Come
We're having a
on,
little
bring
watch
them
party.
on, bring them on.
Come on. They did say they would come out after the last one. They were being quiet, but
they've gone all shy again.
I think so. Maybe they're on a bit of a delay. But I would like to say massive thanks to all the team, and not just our digital team, but also we support young people as well, and they've been amazing in adapting to providing that online support. I think they're on a delay. They're coming now.
Well, we can hear them. We
Hurry.
can hear them. Lots of giggles and squeaks and squawks and hello. Hello, congratulations, guys. You must all be thrilled.
You must all be thrilled, you say.
Yeah. Good. Well, listen, enjoy the evening, and congratulations to you all.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Claudia. Before we move on to the next award, and this must be a record number now, the judging panel would like to note a special commendation in this category. Again, it goes to The Space by the Louise Project for the support they've provided to so many families during the pandemic. Well done to everyone at the Louise Project. Up next is a new award, Climate Conscious, sponsored by Utility Aid. And I'm pleased to welcome Billy Campbell from Utility Aid to tell us more.
Next up, we have a new award for 2021, the Climate Conscious Award, sponsored by Utility Aid, which highlights how the voluntary sector is leading the way to a greener Scotland. Our 3 finalists have embraced sustainability, taking action to make the world a better place to live, despite the challenges of making major changes. They have led the way in what is an important year for Scotland and the rest of the world in taking lasting action against climate change. Let's meet them now.
Our first finalist in this category is Revolve Recycle, a unique project managed by Leap. Revolve's goal is to reduce clothing consumption, cut down carbon emissions, and decrease landfill waste. It uses a circular economy model to allow local people to meaningfully contribute to tackling climate change whilst connecting with others and doing things they enjoy. Its swap shops give people the chance to access new-to-you clothing for free so that customers can shop whilst keeping textiles in circulation in their local area. And its workshops allow people to connect with others whilst learning a skill such as mending or upcycling that allows them to prolong the life of their textile. Next up, we have the 2050 Climate Group's Young Leaders Development Programme. With over 70 volunteers, 5 staff, and a network of over 550 young leaders, it equips young people with leadership skills to challenge the climate crisis. The Young Leaders Development Programme is a year-long process that is completely delivered by dedicated volunteers. And through it, the group creates space for young people to be part of the conversation to create a future-proof society. One that is just and fair for those living now and for future generations. Last but not least, we have Forth Valley Sensory Centre's Making Sense of Energy Saving project, which helped a number of deaf and blind people cut their energy bills and secure new heating systems, warmer home payments, and even new windows during the pandemic. On top of this, with the change to LED lighting in the centre and the advice provided to centre users in Braille, workshops, accessible video and BSL, the service has saved 300 tonnes of CO2, equivalent to the amount needed to make over 21,000 cups of tea.
Wow, some inspiring finalists there who can hopefully lead the way in other organisations making similar changes to the way they work. I'm pleased to announce that this year's winner of the Climate Conscious Award is Forth Valley Sensory Centre's Making Sense of Energy Saving project. Congratulations.
And I'm joined by Jackie Winning from Forth Valley Sensory Centre. What a terrific initiative. Well done, Jackie. What got you started on energy saving for deaf and blind people? Oh, I think have you muted yourself, Jackie? We're not hearing you.
Oh, yes, hopefully you can hear me now.
I'm just
absolutely delighted. Thank you so much. This means a lot. I'm extremely proud of our staff, our team of staff who put together this project and adapted it in the challenging circumstances that we found ourselves in. And really where the project came from, in answer to your question, we spoke to our centre users and they told us they were really having difficulty accessing information on climate change. It wasn't available in formats that worked for people who are blind or deaf. And so we wanted to change that really. So that was where the idea came from, our own centre users.
And I love the fact that you've made such a significant difference to CO2 in the atmosphere to the tune of 21,000 cups of tea worth.
I know, isn't that amazing?
How do you work that out?
Goodness knows, I didn't work it out. My team worked it out, but yeah, it's impressive.
How do you go about, you noticed a need, you found out about it, you noticed a need, you got started on putting it right. How do you start that? Because lots of people, are aware of things that could be done in all sorts of areas, but actually getting to the point of putting in place something as successful as you have managed is not always easy.
No, it's not without challenge, but really by consulting with the people who use our services at Forth Valley Sensory Centre and asking them what would work for them enabled us then to translate that into ESL videos on energy saving or Braille format, or really just different methods of communicating information to make it accessible. And we also thought it was important not just about providing information for the people who use our services, but also for energy providers and companies who share information. We wanted to really get in touch with them and let them know what they could do to make their messages more accessible.
That's terrific. What does it mean to you and your colleagues to get this award?
It means the world to us. I'm so glad that this new award is obviously highly topical at the moment, with COP26 just on the horizon. But climate emergency affects everyone, and we believe that everyone should have the opportunity to contribute towards tackling it. And so through our project, I think we are making a small step towards that massive achievement, that global achievement that we're all aiming for.
Well, it's a terrific achievement and well done. Congratulations, and convey our congratulations to all your team. Thanks again.
I will do. Thank you so much.
Up next is the People's Choice category. Now, as the name suggests, it's based on votes from the public, this one, and I'm going to hand back to Anna Fowley, SCVO Chief Executive, to tell us how that vote went and who has emerged the winner. Anna.
Thank you, Sally. This is always a very exciting one. The People's Choice Award is designed to give you, your supporters, the voluntary sector and the public a chance to choose their winner from all 47 finalists. We had a staggering 12,060 votes cast over 2 weeks this year, and the voting process went international, people all over the world taking the time to choose their favourite finalists. So a huge thank you on behalf of SCVO to everyone who voted, and the support that you've shown the voluntary sector in Scotland is truly fantastic. So the winner of the People's Choice Award for 2021 is Edinburgh Children's Hospital Charity. Big congratulations.
Very big congratulations indeed. We're joined by a clearly delighted Victoria Buchanan from Edinburgh Children's Hospital Charity. I hardly dare ask you what you think about that.
Oh, just absolutely made up. I'm completely blown away. It's been very emotional listening to all the amazing finalists the whole evening, Sally, and just absolutely incredible that everyone in the charity and all of our supporters will just be absolutely made up. Thank you so much, everybody.
And to know that this came from the public, I mean, that's important.
Honestly, it's been such a year for everybody, and for the children and families in hospital. It's just been the hardest of times, and to have the recognition of the public and all of our wonderful hospital community is just amazing, because the charity's just knocked it out of the park. I couldn't be prouder.
And not everybody will realise or have thought about the effect of the pandemic on children in hospital, who were affected in well, tell us how they were affected in some profound ways.
Well, I mean, children who have to be in the care of, well, at the beginning of the pandemic, it was the sick kids. Of course, now it's the Royal Hospital for Children and Young People. We've had a hospital move and amongst it all. But nobody ever wants to be in hospital, and no child ever wants to be so ill that they need the care of the hospital teams, whether it's planned admission or emergency. It's a horrible thing to be in pain, to be distressed, dealing with diagnosis, to be separated from their friends, from their school. But if you add on a pandemic onto all of that, and all of the fears and the worries and the increased separation that we all felt, it's just been horrific. It's been really tough. Visiting restrictions were really heightened in the hospital, so parents were having to tag team because only one parent could be in at any one time. Initially, the ward playrooms were closed, it's been really hard and really scary, and obviously everyone wearing PPE and not being able to see their health professionals that they usually get support from for children with long-term conditions. It's just been really tough for them. So it's been the privilege of our lives to be there for them and to make things a little bit easier for them along the way. So,
well, I was going to say to you, it must be tremendously rewarding work. I mean, being involved in any of the initiatives we've heard about tonight is tremendously rewarding, but there is something about very sick children and their desperate parents and being able to make their lives just that little bit better. That must be so special.
Yeah, and that's gone through everything that we do. We throughout, usually our mantra is child first, patient second, and that's never been more true during the pandemic. And throughout, from the very first day, we've sat and thought, well, what do children need? And they need comforted, they needed to be together with their parents, they needed distraction, they needed support to receive medical care remotely, and most of all, they needed fun, and we do that really, really well. Our team are really good at providing smiles and happy times and memories, and it doesn't matter that they're in hospital. We don't want them to miss out on their childhoods, and that's exactly what we did. So it was a real privilege to be there for them.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Victoria. Huge congratulations, and big thanks also to the 12,060 members of the public who voted in this category.
Thank you so much.
Well, we come now to our final and very prestigious award, Charity of the Year. Let me hand over to June Pennykidd from Keegan and Pennykidd to do the honours.
Hello everyone, we hope you're all having a fantastic night, and congratulations to all of tonight's winners and finalists. The work you do is remarkable. Now for our final award of the evening, the Scottish Charity of the Year 2021, sponsored by Keegan and Pennykidd. This category recognises charities and voluntary sector organisations that have had a year to remember. It's important to reflect that every single charity has stepped up to the plate since COVID-19, but our finalists have embraced innovation to make them stand out from the rest. Let's take a look at this year's 6 finalists.
Our first finalist in this category is Edinburgh Children's Hospital Charity. During one of the toughest years children's and families have faced, this organisation stood alongside those ill, injured and shielding at home. While ward playrooms closed, visiting restrictions tightened and fear heightened, the team brought fun, comfort and friendship to wards and waiting rooms, and brought specialist medical equipment to the hospital and thousands of emergency care packs to families' homes. Even the hospital move didn't stop them. The team was there with the last children to leave the sick kids and the first admitted to the Royal Hospital for Children and Young People. Our next finalist is Whale Arts, which has constantly adapted activities in response to the needs of its community over the last 12 months. With online classes, free weekly community takeaway meals, food deliveries, art packs and wellbeing packs, the team has continued to contact people regularly for check-ins and even secured funding to address the digital inequalities faced by many in the community. By working with local partners, they have now supplied laptops, phones, tablets and data to those most at risk of isolation. And they have secured £20,000 in funding to distribute micro-grants to groups working on local COVID response activities. Next up we have the Scottish Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, the only national animal welfare charity operating as normal during the pandemic. The team delivered critical services to support people and animals during lockdown, and they pioneered an emergency foster scheme, getting over 260 animals into loving homes. They also launched their first ever online rehoming service to allow people to adopt animals safely, and led the campaign to introduce harsher sentences for animal cruelty and allow for easier rehoming of animals, which led to the Animals and Wildlife Scotland Act being passed. Our fourth finalist is Scran Academy, which supports young people facing poverty-related barriers to thrive in education, work and life. It coordinated a coalition of charities that produced, packaged and delivered nearly 150,000 meals during the first lockdown, supporting over 1,000 people per week at its height. Scran also merged with Prep Table Scotland, opened the Scran Cafe in partnership with NHS Lothian, and launched the Scran Van, a food truck to tackle holiday hunger across Edinburgh. Our next finalist is West Lothian Food Bank. The COVID-19 pandemic increased food insecurity across Scotland through shielding, furlough, unemployment, and the withdrawal of some support services for vulnerable people. The team formed and coordinated the West Lothian Food Network, a partnership of 38 food charities with over 1,000 staff and volunteers collectively. Working closely with the private and public sector to utilise donated foods, acquire grant monies, and save over 100 tonnes of food from going to landfill. The network has fed an average of 4,000 people per week since the start of the pandemic. Last but by no means least, we have Castleton Housing Association. The team has redesigned hundreds of events and workshops to take them online, coordinated a Castlemilk-wide emergency response, and created a wellbeing community chest. It has improved services with a digital transformation strategy, formed a digital lending library with 270 devices, and worked with various partners throughout the area to support people during the pandemic. A perfect example of how collaborative working, meaningful participation, increasing social connectedness, and an ethos of open working can benefit entire communities.
Our panel found this category even harder than usual to pick a winner, not just because of the range of work and areas each organisation covers, but because each has overcome huge challenges to achieve many successes in the past 12 months. Every year, we're blown away by the finalists we see in this category, and I want to congratulate you all on what must have been a hectic and challenging year. You all deserve to be here tonight. But there can only be one winner, and it is my pleasure to announce that the winner of the Charity of the Year for 2021 is Edinburgh Children's Hospital Charity. Congratulations.
Victoria, haven't I seen you somewhere before?
Oh my goodness.
Charity of the Year. What do you think of that?
Oh, we're so proud. The proudest of proud. Thank you so much.
It's an amazing accolade. And, you know, your work has been amazing. This gives me an opportunity, since you've won again, to ask you in a bit more detail about what you do for these children. Your watchword, children first, patients second. What do you do to make them feel children first?
Well, it's more a question of what we don't do. We provide, as soon as a family walks in the hospital, they're touched by what ECHC does. We provide grants and funding to the hospital so we can bring world-class equipment to the hospital so the children have the best medical care. But we also transform the hospital environment so it's a beautiful, magical, welcoming, wonderful place to be, and not a clinical, scary place. And then we have a hospital-based team who are just the most amazing people who support the children and families directly on the wards and in the waiting rooms. They do this through youth work and family support and the most creative, imaginative arts programme. It's not every hospital you go in and you have Indian dancers with bells on their feet and music playing, or baby sensory in intensive care, or musicians playing in a beautiful courtyard that's been planted by us. And then we have our wonderful shop, which is just a hospital shop, but it's so much more than that, because it provides this amazing service to all of the families and to the staff as well. We look after the staff as well. The NHS teams have been through so much, as we know from all of the headlines, and we look after them, and we try and make their days a little bit easier as well. So just whatever we possibly can do, we like to think that we're there for the children and families, and it's been it's been such an incredible year for the NHS over in Edinburgh and moving the hospital. So we've had the pandemic to work alongside as well as the hospital move, and we've just tried to lighten the load and to make things as child friendly as possible throughout all of the logistics of pandemics and hospital moves. And it's just, as I said earlier, it's just been an absolute privilege.
I have to ask you about Ollie the octopus.
Oh yes, well he's the fifth member of our team. Yeah,
I think that's the first time I've ever asked that question in my professional career. Tell me about Ollie.
Yeah. So Ollie moved into the old sick kids building, you see, so all of the children had an understanding of why they were having to move. So that was the reason for Ollie, because nobody had really taken the time to explain why they were having to move. And in the last days of the sick kids, of course, it was only the most seriously ill children that were in the hospital. And literally, if you were in the sick kids on those days, there were, beds being pushed into removal vans and boxes being packed up. Meanwhile, there were children, really ill children, being cared for. So we thought it would be good to lighten it up, and there were lots of activities we did. We did a film, we did art installations, we did silent discos through the beds, but we thought it would be really, really, what we really needed was an inflatable giant octopus to be hanging out of the sick kids' windows to bring a bit of fun and distraction, and it worked a treat. We always remember one wee boy, and he hadn't been able to get out of his bed for days, and when he heard about Ollie, he couldn't see Ollie from his bed, but when he heard about Ollie, he thought, I'm going to get up, and it made him get up, and he got the strength to get up out of his bed, and he could see Ollie and pointing and enjoying all of the tentacles coming out. So yeah, Ollie's been a huge part of this, and we'd like to thank him.
Yeah. Well, I bet there are many, many grateful parents as well out there, because for every child that you make happy, you make a parent or two happy as well.
That's it. It's the most worrying time for parents, and for us to be there and make it a little bit easier for them. As I say, it's our privilege, and many thanks. We couldn't be here without of all of our supporters. It's been an incredible tough time for every charity in Scotland, I know, with fundraising, and we rely solely on fundraised income. So we are so grateful for all of our supporters because they fund every single penny of all we do, which has been amazing.
Well, huge congratulations from us, and I hope you have a wonderful time this evening and lots of jubilation all round.
Yes, well, Ollie's downstairs, so he's pouring a drink just now. So.
Well, you and Ollie have a wonderful time together.
Thank you so much.
The judging panel would once again also like to note a special commendation in this category, and it goes to the Scran Academy for all the vital work they've done this year in supporting so many people. So a huge thank you to everyone at Scran, and well done. Congratulations again to our award winner, Edinburgh Children's Hospital Charity, to all the other finalists in the Charity of the Year category, any one of whom would have made a worthy winner. And my thanks also to June from Keegan and Penny Kid. And that brings our award ceremony almost to a close. Can I just emphasise what an achievement it is to be a finalist in these awards at all. So when I say congratulations to everyone in the shortlist, I really do mean it. And for those who received an award tonight or a special commendation, well, you can be very proud of yourselves, because this was a quite amazing field of charity excellence. I hope you at home enjoyed the evening as much as I did, as much as our award winners certainly did. But I'm going to invite Anna Fowley to step back into the limelight now and bid you all good night from us both.
Thank you, Sally. And I would like to echo Sally's words about how amazing it is to be a finalist or a winner in this year's awards. It really was a very tough year to make some decisions, and everyone's done a fantastic work. And I hope that everyone who's been watching has enjoyed seeing the real breadth and depth of the sector across Scotland, everything from national to local, and dealing with anything from farmers to drugs to devices or whatever. It's a sector that has never been more needed, and it's absolutely vital to every aspect of life in Scotland. I, of course, want to say a huge thanks to Sally for being such a wonderful host. She makes it all seem so easy, and I know it's not easy, and that empathy towards everyone that we have as finalists is absolutely genuine, and we really appreciate it. Thank you. I also would like to say a massive thank you to everyone here at the EICC who do a fantastic job and look after us beautifully and make sure all the tech goes really, really well. So thank you to all of you. And a special thank you as well to my colleagues at SCVO, particularly Alex, who make it all run seamlessly. And of course to our sponsors who make this all possible, to our supporters and to the judging panels. I think in the second year, we're probably getting the hang of these virtual awards now, but I think it would also be quite nice to be back in a room around some tables, and hopefully we'll maybe have a combination of the two next year. So finally, congratulations to everybody, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night and stay safe.